Hey everybody, this is Dan. Let's get right to it. Some of you might be considering renovating your home and you might want to install impact windows, and then maybe you're thinking about non-impact windows. Now, most people when they look at stuff, they say, "Hey, well, I'm going to go with the cheaper product because I want to save money." Well, you don't always save money by making financial decisions. I think you may have already found that in life. Sometimes it's better to spend a little more on a product or service because you get a better product or service. And the same thing might be true here with impact windows. So let's get right into it. I'm looking at an article written by Kyle Stanton from SC Windows and Doors. He's a Tampa-area contractor. He does windows, and he's a Christian-based organization. He's got a wonderful family up there and does some great stuff. He wrote an article, and he talked about impact versus non-impact windows, which are better, which is the way to go. First, let's talk about what windows are. Windows let light in. They let heat in from the sun through the radiation. They allow you to see outside, and they also protect your house. And that goes for both impact or non-impact windows. Now, when we ratchet it up toward hurricanes, tropical storms, that sort of thing, a non-impact window is just what it implies. It is a piece of glass. It may be two pieces of glass separated by an insulating layer. And what it does is it protects your home from the outside elements. And if it's insulated, it's two pieces of glass with maybe an argon gas interlayer, and that helps to provide energy efficiency. These windows, like impact windows, they could have low E, they can be tinted, they can have a lot of different enhancements to them. You can get them just with a reflective coating on the outside, although I don't recommend you do that, especially in a community setting, because the reflection is generally frowned upon by HOA and condo communities, and it can be really irritating to neighbors. Now, impact glass, on the other hand, is built pretty similar to a non-impact window because, hey, basically a window is a window, but that's where the similarity ends. It is a window, yes, but impact windows are a lot stronger. They're made with different materials. They're a lot heavier, and they're certainly a lot more money. They could be up to 40 to 60% more than a non-impact window. What makes an impact window special is you've got, well, sure, it has glass like other windows, and you can get insulated impact windows where you would have an impact layer, which I'll talk about in a second. You can have an argon gas interlayer, and then you can have a piece of glass outside. In a regular impact window, the important thing is that there are three layers that make up a sandwich on the impact pane of the window. You would have two pieces of either tempered or laminated glass, and they would be sandwiched with either a poly layer or acetate layer or some different layers that you can put in there that's clear. It sandwiches and bonds the two glass panes together so that if something were to hit the glass, they would shatter. Maybe the stuff would bounce off, but if they do happen to break and shatter, pieces don't go everywhere. They all stay in place. That interlayer keeps everything intact and does not allow projectiles to go into your home. So that's where they save from impact. Now, when you think of an impact window, you think of a window that can't be broken. And you can have a window that can have stuff bounce off of it and it'll be fine. But an impact window can break. But if it does, it doesn't break open. It just spiders out and you can get the glass replaced after a storm. And the idea is that that interlayer doesn't allow anything to penetrate the home. That would be wind, pressure, rain, other debris. So that's what makes them very important. So now you might start to think, hey, maybe I want some peace of mind here. Maybe looking at an impact window makes sense, even though they cost so much more than a non-impact window. Now, impact windows are great because you can get them in an insulated fashion. Same thing, you would have that triple layer, the two laminated or tempered glass pieces bonded together by that interlayer that we talked about, an insulating area of perhaps argon gas, and then you could have a regular annealed or laminated or tempered layer on the outside. So generally, people buy impact windows, if they're insulated, they'll have a regular piece of annealed glass on the outside, the argon layer, and the impact layer. Now, the nice thing about all these layers is that the windows are quiet. They can cut out more than half the sound that comes into your home, and that may not seem like much, but if you were like us, back in 2011, we purchased a property down next to a pool. In 2012, we installed impact protection and replaced all the cheap non-impact windows. And it cost us about, at the time, it cost us about $1,100 a piece to put some nice insulated impact windows in the house. Now, the nice thing was we found that the water aerobic sound, the sound of people at the pool, all that stuff just got dramatically cut, more than half, and it just made the house much more comfortable. And if you have to be working from home or take some days where you're working at home, it's a lot more pleasant to be in a house that's quieter. You can get work done. You're not distracted by road noise and that sort of thing. So impact products are great for that. If you happen to live near railroad tracks or by a busy street or near an industrial environment, these impact windows that are insulated can make all the difference on sound reduction. Now, cost, I already told you, an impact window costs between 40 and 60% more than a non-impact window, and that might turn some people off. But look at the other benefits. An impact window is passive protection, meaning you don't have to do anything. Once that window's put up, you're done. It is protecting your house 24/7. It gives you burglar protection. It is very difficult to break into a house that has impact windows if you're trying to go through the windows. And you're going to make a whole lot of noise, and you'll probably, these people will probably set off some commotion with neighbors before they ever really get into a house. So they do have a great reputation for helping to deter people who are trying to enter your home. They also are great for insurance discounts. Insurance companies aren't stupid. They know that these things are pricier up front. And if you're willing to invest in an impact window product, many insurance companies are willing to help subsidize the cost by, in effect, giving you hurricane credits and giving you a discount on your insurance services. There are things you would have to do. You would have to have an inspection. You would have your county inspection. They need to be put in and installed, coded, and inspected by the county. Then you would have a home inspector or somebody who's licensed and able to sign off on a wind mitigation form, and they can check your home, and that would allow you to sometimes take advantage of hundreds of dollars in credits. So we only get a small credit in our home, but it really helps. Hey, if you guys are enjoying this content and you're getting a few nuggets of wisdom, please feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button, but only subscribe to this channel if you're interested in this content and you want to hear more about it. If you have a comment you want to put down there, hey, the feedback helps us. It helps us decide what other content we can put out for you guys. The way we're designing this particular Talk Wednesday video series, that's what we call it, the Talk Wednesday series, is designed for you guys to listen to. There's not a lot going on the screen, so you can stream it while you're driving to work. You can stream it at work if you've got that kind of job. You can be home listening to it or in the garage like I am here. You can even, if you're cooking or doing something, you can put it on in the background and just listen, pick up a lot of information. Rewind it if you want to repeat, have something repeated, and go on to the next video. We're just trying to make it easy for people to assimilate and apply hurricane protection information into their lives. So thank you again very much for hitting that like button and subscribing if you're interested. Now, we can go on further. We talked about the insurance discounts. It depends on the insurance company you have. It depends on the program they have and how they do that sort of thing. Now, when you look at cost versus value, which is something that, again, Kyle Stanton puts out in his article here, which is impact versus non-impact windows, is the price worth it? He says that, hey, you've got to look in the cost of hurricane shutters, because if you don't have impact windows, if you have non-impact windows, in most Florida jurisdictions, depending on your location, you must have something available to cover that window or the door opening or the lanai opening to protect it in the event of a windstorm. So this is something that's very important. So you've got to factor in the cost of the shutters. Is it worth buying non-impact windows, buying separate shutters, having a place to store them, crawling around your hedges to put these things up when a storm comes? Like every time a storm blows, if you get 3 storms coming in a month, you're going to be crawling out there 3 times. What if you're not home? You got to count on your neighbor or company to put this stuff up for you if you're traveling, so that can be a hassle. You might get increased resale value by putting in impact protection depending on how your house is set up. So that's a very good thing that Kyle brings up in his article. And the whole idea is that when you start to look at what it takes to manage your house when you have non-impact windows, and here's another case in point, you're getting older. Let's say you're 60 this year. Well, in 4 years, you're going to be 64. Do you really want to be clambering around, lifting, going up? Do you have a 2nd or 3rd story home? Do you want to be climbing, putting those panels up when the winds start? Probably not. So again, that's just something else to think about. With regard to energy efficiency, the windows are manufactured, both impact and non-impact windows are manufactured better than they used to be. So because of that, you can get extended energy savings in your home, but you have to make sure you specifically ask and check all the details, because companies make these windows differently. So when you look at it, Kyle mentions here that impact windows are a long-term play. If you are going to be in your house for a while, if you're going to be in it for years, it may make smart financial sense to invest the money now and put in impact window protection. Even if it takes you 3 or 4 years to put it in, you only do 3 or 4 windows at a time. When you're done, it's like this. You've got instant protection 24/7. By putting in quality windows, you can really take care of yourself. Now, the one thing here that I'll end with is it is possible that you can make a better decision by putting in non-impact windows. And it goes here. If you move frequently, you're not going to be in your house and you're not going to get the value out of the window, then you probably don't want to put impact windows in your home. If you're a property investor, Kyle mentions that. If you're flipping a property, you might just want to put a nice non-impact window in and not spend the money on an impact window. If you're a landlord and you're renting out the property, now this can be a mixed bag. A lot of landlords, they certainly want to save money to maximize their real estate investment. But do you really want to count on your tenant putting up hurricane shutters in a time of need? Do you want to hire somebody to do it? Are you going to do it yourself for your property, to protect your property in case a storm comes? That can be good or bad, but there are reasons that you may want to consider non-impact windows. So there you go. That's what we have here. And again, feel free to like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy this content, you want to see more. We'd love to see your comments, and we'd love to have you share it with your circle. I'm Dan. Appreciate your stopping by. We'll see you on another Wednesday with another video. Take care and be safe.